You have the TCL, this is the LX, and it has the model number A502DL. Looks like this on the back. And you are wondering if you can change the battery. Your phone's a little bit older, it's starting not to take a charge. And the one thing that tells us a little bit of information, it has a SIM tray. So the back is not easily... It's not easy to take the back off. So let me dive in. Let me find out if we can change the battery. All right, the tools I'm using today, I have this electronics mat, and I have this small electronics kit. I think it's called Tool or Tooks. And I'll leave the link to my Amazon store in the description in case you want to attempt this repair. All right, before I get started, I'm going to power the device off. I've already looked to see if there's a little bit of a space, and I can kind of get, let's see if you can see that. I can get my fingernail right in there, and it opens a little bit for me. So I'm going to go for that. So what you need to realize is it's very likely that, I'm going to remove that SIM tray first. Let's pop out that SIM tray to make sure that we're not going to have, that's not going to hold us up. Okay, and a couple other things to realize is that the camera might be attached, the buttons might be attached, and it's very likely that I can destroy this just by opening it. So I'm going to get some of these tools. A lot of people say don't use metal, but I'm going to use metal. I'm just going to see what happens. Let me see if I can get this side. Oh yeah, that's pretty easy. I'm going to explore just real quick and see to what extent what happens. Sometimes you have to pull this plastic away from the charging port, but this one might just come, it looks like it wants to come apart. All right, that's coming apart there. So I'm going to keep going. See what happens. Okay, I'm going to put one of these little holders in right there. Hopefully that holds it. All right, so this is what I got so far. I've accidentally turned it on. I'm going to turn it back off here before I move on. All right, get the power back off. And in case you didn't see, I'm using this tool that has a little bit of a scoop to it. So I feel like that's what helped me get inside here. Now you have a choice of continuing down. I'm going to continue down this way. Sometimes you can continue down this way. I'm going to see what happens going this way. It looks like that popped off a lot. Okay, it looks like it's come off of the buttons, so we don't have to really worry about the buttons there. It looks like the camera is still attached. Opening, continue to open, continue to open. Oh, that came apart very easily. So it's just a matter of getting the scoop, and it just popped all the way off. There are no attachments, so I would call that, outside of finding a little space to get started, you're good to go. All right, let's move on to the battery. All right, after looking at this for a few minutes, this is what I'm guessing. So we have the battery, and the battery connector is underneath this plastic sheet. To me, it looks like there's two plastic, this plastic here and this plastic here. So I'm going to start by removing these screws. And sometimes the liquid indicator, that's a liquid indicator, where I'm going to peel that off to make sure there's not a screw underneath there. So I'm going to go into hyperlapse so you don't have to watch me take off every screw. All right, let's see what happens. And the tip I'm using is the Phillips 000, and I think that's about the best fit. All right, so let's get started. All right, now let's find out if there's, I don't think there's a screw underneath there. It looks like it's just flat, but we need to double check. Nope, no screw. All right, so let's see. Let's see if this comes off easily. Looks like it's coming off easily so far. Easily. Perfect. Now we can see there's the battery connector. And this battery connector, for almost 100% of the time, it just pops right off super easy. And then when you go to put it back down, you just very gently press it right up in there. So let's pop that off. It should pop up easy. Yep, just like that. And then usually these kind of batteries have a tape on the bottom side. So let me see if it comes out easily. Again, I'm going to go back to my scooper. This scooper. Let's see. It looks like I can get right there. Very sticky tape in there. And let me check. It looks like it's being held on. So sometimes, there's this, I don't know if you can see, there's tape here and tape here. Yeah, you should be able to see that. And some manufacturers make it so it's easy. Oh yeah, it's right here. This little tab of green. It's kind of like helps you take the tore the tape. It's supposed to like help you lift up. But let's go ahead and continue like that. And we'll get this little bit of tape here. And one thing to be really, it's got tape going down this way too. One thing to be very careful of at this moment is that, see, my finger, just the force of my fingernail has dented the battery. So you'll want to kind of not do that or minimize, because the battery, this is a lithium battery, so it's possible that it could hurt the battery and then make it decay very quickly. All right, we've got this tape out, so now let's see if we can get that battery. It comes out a little easier. I'm underneath it now. I'm going to go really slow, but that just kind of popped right there. And see that there is adhesive underneath. There we go. Success. We removed the battery. Okay, so now the assumption is that you are trying to save your TCL phone, and you have purchased an additional TCL phone, whether it's severely damaged like this one is with the broken screen and someone just wants to get rid of it, or you're just buying it. I think it's going to get much harder to get just a battery. So you've probably bought a used one off eBay from a reliable seller, and then you've had to do this twice. So you've opened your phone up, and then you've opened the replacement phone. And so now let's reverse the process and install, obviously I'm installing the same battery, but let's say that you are now installing the new battery. Let's get started with this part. All right, I'm going to opt to install the connector first. So I'm going to get this battery as close. I got to work through all this debris. I'm going to lay the battery, try to get it laid down. The tape is making it funny. All right, there, I think I've got it mostly laid down flat. Now let's line up this connector. I'm going to have this tool handy in case I need help pressing flat. But it really just lays down really close to where it's supposed to go, and it's not a very deep click. So you line it up. So I feel like I could feel it's lined up. And now I'm just going to use my fingernails. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to use my fingernails and see if you can hear the click when it felt like it clicked on this side. Oh, there it goes. So just a little gentle pressure, and I'm kind of like rubbing it all along to make sure it's clicked in completely. And so before we reassemble it, let's look at the case. It goes this way, and there's volume up, volume down, and power. So on the side of the phone, we've got volume up, volume down, and power. This little button is the power button, so I'm going to press it. You can use a plastic tool or your fingernail if that works. Yeah. There we go. Oop. There we go. Holding it down, and we've got power. So that's a successful battery replacement. So we got the connector right, the battery is laying in there right. Before I move on, I'm going to power this back off, and then we'll put everything back together. All right, here we are. The phone is powered all the way on. Oh, and now I have something with the touch. What has happened? I guess that's one of the things to look out for when you are changing up your battery, is that you can damage your phone. And to replace the screen, oh look, right here, little tiny easy troubleshooting. Let's make sure that connector is back on all the way. Yep, I felt that click. Hope you saw that. Let's power back on. Do we get touch back? Something has happened. Let me check other connections. There's a connector that's all right. That's all right. This one's all right. No, that was not pressed all the way down. Let me make sure that one is. So that is one of the dangers. All right, so I took the battery out, I put it back in, I double checked that all of these connectors were pressed all the way down, and now let's test it again. Press the power button there. Should be able to feel it click under your fingernail. Not a humber. There we go. Let's try again. There you go. I got it clicked. Let's see if we get power. There we go. And let's find out if we get touch. And that's, obviously taking a phone apart that, they recommend that you don't take apart. There's a risk that you damage it a little bit more. So you have to be prepared for that mentally, that, if you have very important data on here and you choose to open it up, the possibility exists that more things could break, or, things that you accidentally, are too rough, connection comes off, or you break a connection. You have to be prepared for that. So let's see if we're going to get touch back on. Just a few more seconds, hopefully. A few more seconds. Touch is back on. Look at that. Cool. All right. Can we get to settings? Can we move around? Yeah, it looks like everything. All right. Fantastic. All right. Let's get this device put back together. All right, we've got it all clicked back together. Touch still works. Power button still works. Volume up, volume down works. So that looks like a success. So yes, you can change the battery on your TCL LX. A502DL. All right, so last few things. Remember that there's risk. You might break it. So be prepared for that. Also check the tools. You got this mat, keeps all the screws nice and neat. This kit has all the right tools to help you take it apart, put it back together. And then also, lastly, if you are done with your TCL and you're ready for an upgrade, right here should be the link to my YouTube affiliate store. I run Samsung. I love the Samsung devices. They've always worked very well for me. And here's my suggestions if you want to upgrade to Samsung. Other than that, if this video has helped you, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.